Hello, Julie here and welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you enjoy my video today and perhaps you might join me when I post my next one. Okay, so this is the acrylic tag. You can see it's got the embossing on it and I'm going to colour this before I take that paper covering off. Before I do anything, I'm just going to wipe this over to make sure that there's nothing on the tag that will stop my paint adhering to it properly. Okay, rightio, so I'm going to use some of this paint. Now this is from my ceramic days, and so that's over 30 years old. So it is plum luster and it's a pearl paint. Now I probably haven't opened this for, well, 30 years. So I'm going to use my palette knife to give it a bit of a stir up, see if it's still usable. Probably take that bit out. Put that in there. These were a very good brand of paint back in the day. But as I say, it has been a very long time. And really, I should go through all of my paints because I've got like 8 or 9 drawers full, and work out which ones are worth using and which ones aren't. Right, sorry about that. I had a timer set because I'm making some soup, and like everybody else, once I get in my craft room, time goes by and I end up with burnt soup. So I don't know how many times I've done that. So now I set a timer to remind me to go and stir it every now and then. Wow, look at that colour. Beautiful. I'm going for quite a bright colour because there's not going to be a lot on it, as you can see there. So I might squeeze some of this onto an acrylic block, make it a bit easier to get to. Looks like I've got a bit of a problem with the cap, but well, this will probably be enough anyway. So all I'm going to do is scrub it in to over the top of the paper, the protective paper. I'm doing this on my silicone mat so that I don't end up with paint all over my desk. That's not guaranteed because I am a messy crafter. Unfortunately, I'm going to have a bit more paint. Clean that up later on. So I've chosen this colour because I'm going to use some of Denise's toppers. She's got these packs out. I can't remember the name of them, but I will link them in the description box. And they're all fussy cut items. You can cut them out and use them on your pieces. She's got a lot of different types, different themes. So yeah, I'll put a link in the description box to everything I'm using anyway, so if you're interested in any of these things you can pop over and check them out. She does post overseas, internationally, so, and also if it's showing us out of stock, if you contact Denise via email through her webpage there, she's quite happy to let you know when they're going to be back in stock or put you on a waiting list or whatever. Okay, so that is the painting section. I'm going to just set that aside to dry now, and when it's dry I'll come back. So I thought that I'm going to use this chipboard balloon on my tag, so I thought that while I had this paint out I would paint the balloon as well. And these pieces I'm going to paint with a gold paint. They'll probably need more than one coat, so I'll give them this first coat, then I'll set them aside to dry. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside to dry, and when it's dry I'll probably give the pink another coat, but we'll see how it looks. So I'll be back when everything's dry. Okay, so my paint's dry now, so I'm going to peel the paper off. Now I did start this off camera because I'm hopeless at doing these sorts of things, trying to start something on the edges, but I'll try and make sure I don't tear it off somehow. So I'm starting with the back. Probably should have left that on there to protect it while I was working on it. But it's off now. And now for the front reveal, I mean. Oh. Oh dear. So, alright, so I've got that much off. I'm going to turn the camera off and start this edge, and then I'll be back. I've got a couple of pieces started here, and I'm not sure, but I think all of these pieces have to be pulled off separately. If that is the case, then I will peel these pieces off, and then I will pull the rest off screen, because if you want to wait for me to start each and every one of those, it will be a long video. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, all of these pieces have to be started separately, and I will do that off screen. Oh, and there's my little balloon. I think I'm going to put some Wink of Stella or something on that to give it a little bit of sparkle, but we can look at that when I get back. Okay, I'll see you when I've peeled all of that off. Okay, so I've got all the paper off, and it is gorgeous. Look at that. I don't know whether you can see it very well. If I put it down on there, you could probably see it better. Look at that. That is beautiful. And then I'm going to put my hot air balloon on there somewhere, and then I'm just going to decorate around here or over there, whatever. But before I do that, I think what I'm going to do is put some glittery stuff on this. And I can't decide whether to use something like this, Stickles Diamond, and just paint that on, or whether, well, I could just use glossy accents, and that would make it nice and shiny without the glitter. Or I could use like a Wink of Stella pen first and then put the glossy accents over the top. What do you think? What do you think? I think that's a clear one. Just put it on the pink area. Give it a good shake up, get all that glittery goodness going. And then, I mean, this pink was a pearl paint anyway, so it's supposed to have glitter in it. Or, well, it's supposed to have a pearly sheen. Okay, so set that aside to dry, and now I'll start work on my, I've got a bit of sparkle on that. So probably something that you might want to try if you're going to be doing one of these is to leave your backing paper on, and then you don't have to worry about scratching the back. Okay, so I thought I've got a couple of ideas really. I don't know whether to go with these fussy cuts and put these on there, or whether to make some flowers. I might do both. I'll finish my sentence. I don't know whether to go with these fussy cut flower embellishments and layer them on top of each other, but they look a bit like just thrown on there, don't they? So I think what I'm going to do is sort of do a background of this, and then hand make some flowers and put on there, and our balloon will go on here like this perhaps. Alright, so let me dig out and die cut some flowers, and then I'll come back. I'll show you how I'll make some, although with this I'm probably not going to have too many flowers, you know, handmade flowers on here. Probably only maybe 3, sort of down here somewhere. Maybe something like that, and then 3 handmade dimensional flowers on there. So what I'm going to do is, as I said, I'm going to go away. I'm going to got these little bows too that I made the other day. So I'm going to go away, die cut some flowers, and then I'll come back and we'll make some flowers together. Okay, so I have die cut some flowers. I've used, let me just show you. I've used this die, and it's Craft Barn stamp, so it's a stamp and die set, but I've only used the die, and it's called Primrose. And I've used this Poinsettia die as well. Now these both come from Denise Boddey, and I will put links in the description box below. I have also used this foliage die, and I've cut that out of some of the green papers, and just here and there to use as I wish, and of course I'll link that in the description box below as well. Now I have already assembled 2 flowers here because I didn't think you needed to watch me assemble all of them, so I'll just do one of each. So with the Poinsettia die, that's this one, I've cut one very large, so using the largest. So when I cut the Poinsettia flower, I cut this one, and this one. I didn't cut that one and that one. I cut 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't cut that one or this centre. But that was for one, but for the second one I didn't cut that largest one, so this largest one I mean, so I just cut the 3 pieces for this one that I'm going to assemble now. So you can vary the size of your flowers by just not cutting as larger, you know, the largest one, or you can also change it up a bit by not cutting the smallest one as well. Now these, as you can see, I don't know whether you can see that very well or not, but it cuts all the little spines in each petal as well. So when you're doing this, you need to be a little bit careful that you don't break them off, but I haven't had any trouble with it. So I just start from the centre and push out. I'm not doing too much. Actually, I think I'll use a smaller ball. So I'm using these flower shaping. You get a set of 4. Well, you can, I think you can buy them separately, but yeah, I find them very handy, and for all sorts of things, shaping. So yeah, I'm just pushing down and up to the point of the petal. Now this one I did ink around the edge of it before I turned the camera back on. So depending on the size of the petal, what size little ball tool you use. Now this smaller one doesn't have the slits in it, so it's much easier. So just start from the centre and pull out towards the tip of the petal, and I find that if I hold on to the centre section, sometimes you can be a bit vigorous and pull the actual petal off the whole stem, but if I hang on to the centre of it, well then I don't usually do, that never happens. So then, now that we've got a bit of shaping in our leaves, just a little dab of glue in the centre and then layer them on top of each other so that the petals overlap, so they don't lay on top of each other. And then another little dab of glue in the centre and the centre of the petal. I mean, you could do that centre part in a different colour as well. That would look quite nice. Like you could do it in a gold or something like that, make it stand out. Now, using a ball tool, I just press down in the middle, and that lifts the petals on my flower. So we get a dimensional flower that way. Now this other one, so that is this die. In this one I cut all of the layers. Okay, so that's got 1, 2, 3, that's got 4 layers. It makes a beautiful, nice, full flower. Oh, it must have 5 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so no, there must be 5. So now what I'm going to do with this one is just cut down between each of the flower petals. Of course, don't cut down so far that you cut one off. So do that for each of your flower layers. You can do as many layers or as few layers as you like. This one's a little bit more time consuming, but worth the effort, I think. Now, the way that I did the petals on that one, you could also do the same thing with this one, but I'm doing a different way for this one. Now that I've cut down in between each of those petals, I can ink those. Inking is optional, of course. You don't have to ink anything. I do like the look that you get with inking. Some people don't. They think it looks dirty. Some people think that You know, they should be able to get enough definition just with the flower or whatever they're inking on its own. So I'll just put this on fast forward while I ink these up. Okay, so now I'm going to use my Pokey Tool, but you could use any small round object, and I'm going to just take the edge of the petal and roll that around that, and I end up with something like that. Do that on both sides of each petal, so you end up like that. And I worked out why this one has 4 layers and this one has 4 layers, but this one's not going to be as big, is because on that one I didn't cut the smallest one, and on this one I didn't cut the largest one, so they both end up with 4 layers, but there's actually 5 dies in the set. Plus there's also, you can see there it's got a couple of different leaf dies as well that match the leaf stamp. Quite a good set, I think. I have used that, like I've stamped and heat embossed the flowers and then used the dies to cut them out. It works really well. Okay, so I haven't done this one. With this tiny one, I just bend both sides around at the same time. So probably a bit tricky to see because it's so small, so just bend both sides around the little tool. Of course that would depend on how wide your Pokey Tool is. But once you get these all layered up, you know, you won't be able to really tell the difference between one layer and the other. So once again, we're just going to put them on, layer them on top of each other, staggering each layer of petals. Just makes for a much fuller looking flower. There's my mat. And push down in the centre of that one. And there we have the 2 sizes of that, so you can see the difference with or without the large one. And here's the 2 different sizes for that one, so that's with the largest one and without the largest one. So I thought that I might add a brad to the centre of these to just give them a little bit of extra something or other. And I've got this pink gemstone that might look nice on that one, so I don't think I've got enough of the same brad to do all of them, so I'm just going to, they're all going to be different. So I'm just poking through the centre with my Pokey Tool, then I'll push my brad through. It's got quite a wide shank on it, so then open that out, and there we go. So quite a pretty little flower. Now what are we going to put on here? I haven't really got any burgundy coloured brads. I mean, I've got every brad under the sun just about, but no burgundy. So I have to go for a neutral, so I could well, I could go for another one of these gem ones. Got another one of those pink ones, so I might use that. Same technique, push a hole in the centre, push your Pokey Tool through, and drop your brad through, and open up the back. There's those two. Now these two, I've got a clear sparkly one. I'll use that on here. Clear one, clear gem, should I say. Oopsie daisy. That went through a bit much. Okay, and I've done another clear one here, but hopefully I won't go through the whole thing this time. Okay, alright, so there's our flowers all ready to go. Now it's time to start assembling the everything on the tag. Now, what have I got here? So here's my tag. Very happy with the way that looks. I just love it. Absolutely love it. I don't know whether there we go, you can see it there. Such a beautiful, delicate pattern. Okay, and my hot air balloon is now dry and ready to go. So you can see the sparkle on that, it's beautiful. Right, so now you're going to be, being clear of course, you're going to be able to see this from the back and the front. So what I want to do is put something down here that is going to disguise the backs of all of my flowers and things. So I've got some lace here and I'm going to use that. I'm going to stick that on there so that it comes down to the bottom like this. I need to cut that. And I'm going to use my glue to stick that down. I'll stick it down and then I'll trim off the edge just so that I know that I'm going to get it on where I want it. So I'm going to, which is the right side, which is the wrong side? Yeah, that's the right side. So there's some little pieces here that I'm going to cut off. It's just manufacturing leftovers. Now I've got this lace from my mother, so I can't tell you where to buy something like this. I think Denise might actually have a collection of nice laces in her shop, so perhaps if you are looking for some nice laces, check that out. Okay. So I'm going to let that dry for a minute. And then I thought that to cover all of that up, because from the back it's looking like that, I thought I've got this pink lace and I thought that might be nice. across here to sort of cover up the join between the two. But I was thinking of actually making it into a ruffle, so as I stick it down, sort of pleat it up a bit, like so. What do you think? Do that. Alright. So okay, so a bit trickier than I thought, but with that weight on there, that should hold it in place until the glue's got a chance to grab. And then we can move on. Art glitter glue doesn't really usually take that long to grab, so hopefully should get something non-stick. Got some baking paper here. Okay. So let's put some baking paper on top of that, and put this on top of that, and see if that works. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry for a few minutes and then I will come back to you. Okay, so it's not completely dry yet, but it's dry enough for me to go on. So now I'm just going to turn that over and cut that off. So there we have our layers. Now, I'm not that happy with the way that looks at the back there, because that glue, I can still see the glue, but I'm going to leave it for now, and when it's all completely dry, if I can still see it, well then I think I'm going to put a row of lace across the back as well. Anyway, we'll wait and see what happens there. So now the idea is to have my balloon here as my main feature. So that's going to sit there. So I'm going to have to, oh, that will be alright, that will hold down on there, and it will actually hold that in place as well. So to give my flowers some background, because I'm going to use these fussy cut flowers in the background of my, so something like that, and maybe something like that, and that's probably a bit too big now. I think I need some smaller type flowers now. Or is that enough? So tuck something like that in there. And we've got that on there. And then we can add these dimensional flowers on here. So these flowers are just adding a little bit of background. These are fairly well the same colour, aren't they? Perhaps if I put the two bigger ones along there like so, although I think this one looks heavier than that one, so I'm going to drop that one down to the bottom, and then this one over here, and then that one up there. This one out here, but then we lose a lot of our, so I'm only going to use 3 of the flowers. Something like that maybe. And maybe this flower down there. Actually, I think the back is just going to have to be the back. And now I've got some leaves here, I will put them in amongst everything. Just doing an assortment of leaves in here. I'm not really looking to cover the balloon up. I've got a gold bow here, I might pop that on the balloon. I could put that up there. Yeah, I will put that up there. Now I made that bow using this die, and I'll pop a link to that in the description box as well. It makes 3 different sized bows. You can see I made a whole heap of them when I made this one. Is that the biggest one? Oh, here we go. Here's a bigger one. Yeah, I think we'll go for the bigger one. We can pop a little gold one down there too. Maybe there and there. Okay, so what do we think of that? What do we think of that? Okay, so now I have to try and remember where everything is. Now, a good tip for that is to use your mobile and take a photo. I'm going to just take a photo. I mean, it doesn't have to go back in the same spot anyway, but if I do get stuck, well then I'll know where to put things, won't I? So first of all, I'm going to stick the bows on the balloon. Just wait until they catch a bit. Usually this art glitter glue dries pretty quickly. I don't know why it's taking so long to dry today. Okay, right, now take these off and these. Now I haven't inked the flowers, so I will need to do that, I think. So this was where? About like so. Is it that way or that way? Okay. Let's add some glue. Pop that down there. Now while that's drying a little bit, I'll ink around the edge of this one. You see the difference it makes, can't you? Well, I can anyway, so it just gives it that bit of shading around the edge, tidies up your fussy cutting. Gives a bit of dimension to the whole thing, I think. Okay, so this one is going to go, but if we do it like that. Once again, I'll pop that on top of that for a few minutes. Now, I have inked around those leaves, but I haven't inked around this one. All of these images have been fussy cut from Denise's papers. She's got beautiful papers and they're a nice quality paper. They're not thin and flimsy, so they're good for fussy cutting. I'll put a link actually to her shop in the description box below, and you can just have a look at everything because there's all sorts of goodies there. I'm not actually sure whether I'll use all of these flowers, to be honest. I think they start... Oh, that's not stuck very well, is it? I've got some little clips here. I might... Oh, that's not stuck either. That doesn't reach. Okay, so... That's most unusual for this art glitter glue. Usually you're complaining because it grabs so quickly you can't make a mistake, but today for some reason it doesn't want to. Okay, where was I? Yeah, so I'm not sure whether I'm even going to add all these extra flowers because it can look a bit junked up, if you know what I mean. It looks like there's too much on there and you can't really see anything properly. So I might just try these flowers. I don't know if you can see those or not, but that handmade ones that we did the layering with. I might just try them and see what I think of those with just those on there, because I thought actually that they did look like they got a bit lost. Okay, so now it's probably time to stick our balloon on. Love that balloon, love it. This balloon comes from Denise as well, and it comes in 3 sizes. I think this is the medium size. So yeah, pop on over. I'll put a link to it, of course. But it also comes with a piece that goes behind here in this top section, and so you can colour the background and that, so you can have alternate colours on your stripes. But I like the look of the see-through, you know, with the acrylic tag. Can't talk and think at the same time. Okay, so now I'm going to stick this down. What's holding me up is I'm debating whether I should put some foam tape behind here so that it sits nice and straight. But I don't want to be seeing the foam tape from the back. So I've decided to go just with glue, and I'm going to try and hold it in place while it dries so that we get the full contact of the balloon onto the, now I want it up nice and high. Okay. Now I can use this clip here. These clips are very handy if you can get them to reach. And I can use that there. And that's probably about it, actually. I don't think one will reach down from there. Or just. And I certainly can't get it to reach onto here. So I'm just going to have to push that down with my fingers. So I'll do this and I'll come back to you when it's dry enough for me to let it go. Okay, so that's sticking down fairly well at the moment. I have left those on there, but they're probably dry enough now. I want something out here, and I'm thinking that I might just cut this off and pop that up in there, just to fill in that gap a bit. So let's just cut around that. I'm going to leave those two leaves on that flower, and I'll cut that off there. And then, what does that look like popped in there? Actually, I wanted it a bit higher up. Perhaps you can go in behind that one. Yeah, I'll do that. So I'll ink around this, if I can find my ink pot. So I'm using black to ink around, and it's one of the black Versacolour ink cubes. And pop some glue on the back of this, and then just pop that in behind that leaf, so that it just comes out over that. In there. Okay. Very crooked. It is. Oh, still not dry. Now, I've decided that I don't want all of these flowers on there. There's just too much. I thought I would add this one down there and a smaller one up here. So we could put that one there, or we could put this one there. I think higher. I think I'll go for those two. I think. Okay. I can procrastinate all day. So I'm going to add plenty of glue here. I'm going to pop that one down there. They're stuck now. I wonder what happened last time. And I'll put glue on this one. And pop that up there. Oh, yeah, something like that. Okay, so it's mostly dry now. I think everything's stuck in its place. So there's a couple of little bits that I want to cut off, like this twig here. I think that will be too delicate to last any length of time. I don't mind, I'm going to cut that leaf off. Because I think that would not weather the test of time well. So there we have our acrylic tag on the back. It's all white on the back except for the pattern area. I'm not going to change that. I'm just going to have it as like a front thing, so you hang it that way. And I have got these two sari silks here, and I'm going to use those on the top. So I'll do, I think I might do 4. So I'll do 2 of the darker and 2 of the lighter. Okay, so the lighter one, can I tease that out a bit? Anyway, I'll put that and that and that and that together. Fold them over. Poke them through the hole. Make a loop. And then fold them back through that way. You may want to try this one at a time, I don't know, but I want them to sort of mix in, so just give each one a bit of a pull. Okay, so that is my acetate tag. Really cute, really cute. Very happy with it. So I hope you can see all that nice and clearly. It's got a nice lot of dimension. So we've got the dimension with the flowers and the bows. We've got the texture with the sari silk for the top, and we've got the flowers in the background and the lace. So there we go. Thank you for joining me here today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Everything that I've used will be linked in the description box below, so pop down there and have a check out if there's anything you're interested in. Also, if you're not a subscriber, I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel. So click that subscribe button, and the bell next to the subscribe button will get a notification sent to you each time I upload a video, and you won't miss any. So yeah, thank you for being here, and I hope you can join me for my next video. Okay, bye.